What's up, people of YouTube? I'm Karsatowski, and welcome to the Karsatowski Games YouTube channel. So today is our very first match of the top 8 in the Wii Sports Bowling Winter-Spring Tournament. So to recap, we have had 8 matches within the last few weeks, and 8 players have moved on to our final 8, our top 8 of the Stepladder Finals. And today we will have our very first match. So without further ado, let's get on to the very first match of the top 8 in our bowling tournament. The first bowler of our match. He is one of the oldest bowlers on our Wii console and probably the best golfer on our Wii console. It's Dewey. So Dewey defeated Pee-wee with the 587 to 526 in our first match of the tournament, averaging a nice 190 score to claim that match. And it looks like he's going to opt for that hard and straight line. Ooh, and he misses the 4-pin. Not a good start. The second bowler of our first match. She is a cousin to Wakey and defeated Wakey in our first match. It's Jenna Kate. Now, Jenna Kate's story for our tournament so far is completely different from Dewey's. Dewey had a 61-pin victory over Pee-wee, but Jenna Kate only had a 7-pin victory over Wakey. She had to convert a difficult split in our 10th frame in the last game. And she ended up picking up that split and then getting count on the final shot for her to move on. If she doesn't pick up that split, though, Wakey would have moved on to our match. And it looks like both these bowlers are going to play a little bit straight. Dewey converts that spare nicely. So, both of these bowlers averaged right around a score of 190. Within that first match, Dewey bowled a score 4 pins higher than Jenna Kate. So this is pretty much our closest match as far as scores are going to go for opponents. They bowled the closest scores to each other out of all of our players who are in our head-to-head matches in the top 8. And Dewey throws a nice shot over there. So key for having success going straight is really to put a good amount of hook on it and maintain that ball speed. And we've really only seen 2 other players in our top 16 have success like that, Chong and Accident. And they both had right around similar scores. But the highest scoring matches we've had are the ones that have played hard and straight. Wakey misses the bucket there. The players who are going hard and straight, aiming right for the pocket, are the ones who've seemed to have the most success. So I wouldn't be surprised if any of these bowlers were to make a lane adjustment to try to go to there if this line doesn't work for them too much. And neither of these players have really found their mark so far, but it is just the first game. And Jenna Kate has a nice shot over there. So this match is fairly even right now. We have a 4-pin match going into the 5th frame. And Dewey has a nice shot right over there. Going a little bit straighter, laying the ball right over first arrow. So these bowlers are playing right on top of each other right now. And it looks like Jenna Kate just pulled that ball a little bit further left than she wanted to. And that gives Dewey a chance to take advantage. Oh, and he trips out the 4-pin. Normally that is a 4-pin all day, every day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. But Dewey gets a nice break off the 4-pin. Jenna Kate gets a nice break. So these bowlers are finding a way to get their bowling balls to the pocket now. They may just be about the best bowlers to play this line right now. If they can figure something out playing that line, they can compete with the bowlers who are going hard and straight. Ooh, she pulled that one a little bit too much. Leaves a difficult 5-7 split. And she almost picks it up. She just missed a little bit too much of the 4 pin. She just missed a little bit too much of the 6 pin. Dewey gets it through the face. She pulls that one left a little bit again. As of right now, it looks like that Dewey might be taking this point. Yeah, they're both missing the ball a little bit further left. And with putting that much rev rate on it, you've got to keep your ball speed up. Or else that ball is just going to break loose too early. Yeah, she pretty much made the same shot that Dewey did. Yeah, Dewey just needs a couple pins here. He's got a 34 pin lead with 1 frame to go. Yeah, I think we may see them moving a little bit more right and keeping about the same ball speed. Picks it up nicely, so Dewey will take game 1 of our first match of the top 8, and he gets a light mixer, tripping out that 7 pin late. Jenna Kate throws a similar shot, and the ball just doesn't pick up. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Jenna Kate making quite a bit of an adjustment going into our second game. And that is a 204 to 159 victory. That's a 45 pin victory for Dewey in our first game. So he's got a pretty good lead so far. Dewey has a pretty comfortable lead going into game number 2. And he gives that ball a nice touch to it, nice ball speed. Playing that far right, you do need to keep your ball speed a little bit down if you're not going to put too much rev rate on it. Looks like Jenna Kate's trying to do the same thing, but hers doesn't quite climb the hill enough. Oh, and she barely gets double wood. I don't think I've seen double wood converted quite like that before. Nice shot for Dewey. Starts off with a double. Nice shot for Jenna Kate. Gets her ball to strike. And Dewey gets that ball to push just a tad too far down the lane. Jenna Kate gets that ball to finish nicely in the pocket for a double of her own. So it looks like these bowlers have found a way to get their balls to strike this section of the lane, and Dewey leaves another 4 pin. So his ball is coming into the pocket a little bit too light. So he'll need to make a slight adjustment off that. Oh, and Jenna Kate gets a nice break for a turkey. Ball finishes nicely for Dewey, gets back on the strike train. Great shot for Jenna Kate with a 4-bagger, or a ham bone. Nice shot for Dewey. Came a little bit late, but trips out the 10 pin. Ooh, that ball was just a little bit too far outside for Jenna Kate. Picks up the spare. And Dewey takes advantage with the turkey. Oh, she has kind of a similar shot as last time. But as long as she keeps it clean, she'll be within a few pins behind Dewey. Dewey with the nice four-bagger. Or ham bone, however you want to call it. Nice comeback from Jenna Kate. Oh, and Dewey trips out that 10-pin late. Jenna Kate gets a nice break. Makes a nice shot. This is a 7-pin match going down to the 10th frame. Dewey gets a nice shot for a 6-pack. So Dewey basically needs to strike out to force Jenna Kate to get all 3 in the 10th frame. He gets 7 in a row. He needs 1 more to force Jenna Kate to get 2 strikes in the 10th frame to win. But either way, Dewey will still be leading going into our 3rd and final game of this match. And he gets a perfect shot for the last 8 in a row. So Jenna Kate needs to strike out. So Dewey will win this game, but she can only be down now by 13 pins. And she makes a bad shot, leaving the bucket with the 7-pin included. She'll pick it up, but she'll be down now in a massive hold. She was down by 45 going into this game. And now she's down by 38 after this game. Dewey, at this point, has a commanding 83-pin lead over Jenna Kate going into our 3rd and final game of this match. And he leaves a blower 7-10 on the 1st frame. But if you want to have an open frame, the 1st frame is the best way to go by it. And he almost picks up the 7-10 split. Look at that. Almost picks it up. And now Jenna Kate needs to beat Dewey by 84 pins for a comeback. Can she make another comeback like she did against Wakey to get to our top 8? Jenna Kate honestly is going to have to strike out in this match. She's going to have to strike out, I think, to have any kind of chance. Because I don't really see Dewey shooting anything lower than probably about 220 or so. She leaves a split. Yeah. Honestly, I think if Dewey shoots at least a 210 at this point, or 220, pretty much anything over 200, I think he'll be safe. Because at that point, if he shoots, let's say, a 200 on the nose, Jenna Kate will pretty much have to strike out. And that shot right there may cost her. Because now, she can only go out for in the 250s at this point. And Dewey at this point would have to shoot at least a 180 to lose if Jenna Kate strikes out. Because Jenna Kate has to beat Dewey by 84 pins. So if she strikes out and Dewey shoots like 160, then this could end up being Jenna Kate's, but at this point she's made a few bad shots and she misses that not really difficult spare. She only gets 1 pin and count. And both these bowlers are struggling to get to the pocket, but Dewey has a massive break. Yeah, this match, none of these bowlers have really found a great line so far. Completely different match from our last one where it was 230 against 268. Missing 2 fairly easy spares by Jenna Kate is not going to help her cause any. Dewey leaves a massive split. Yeah, honestly, at this point, both of them will be lucky to shoot 200 at this point. Completely different match from our previous one. Our first match, they were just getting their feet wet pretty much. Dewey manages to go to over 200, and Jenna Kate doesn't even shoot 160. And last game, each bowler has at least a 230 or 268. And so far this game, they're scrambling to strike out for 180. And I don't even think Jenna Kate at this point can get to a 180. So at this point, Dewey really doesn't need any pins anymore. Like if he gets the last few open frames, and even if Jenna Kate strikes out, Dewey is more than well going to take this game. Not how I was expecting for this last game to show up. Both these bowlers struggled pretty much the duration of this game. And Jenna Kate has completely lost her ball reaction. Yeah, it's definitely over. She can only go out for a 157. And Dewey can still go out for a 200 game. And it's over. 191 to a potential 153. It wasn't a pretty game, but it will be more than enough for Dewey to move on to our final four. Maybe it would have been better if Jenna Kate would have played hard and straight after all. Because if she would have done that, she at least wouldn't have left a bunch of splits and stuff like that. So it's going to be a 191 to 146. So that's going to be yet another 45-pin victory for Dewey. None of these matches have come even close in our first match. So it's all one-sided with Dewey. So he will be moving on to our final four. Well, folks, our final two scores have been updated. So Dewey with a commanding 663 three-game series, and Jenna Kate with a 535 series. This match has so far been the highest margin. Dewey had a 128-pin victory over this match. So Dewey is in really good position for our final four. Jenna Kate just never really had any kind of good look. Well, Jenna Kate honestly was very fortunate to get to this spot, and unfortunately she shoots one of the 4 lowest scores so far in our tournament. And from what we've seen so far, really anything lower than a 580 series is not going to cut it for our final 8 bowlers. So if you guys would like to see our second match of the top 8 and to see who's eventually going to win this tournament, be sure that you're subscribed to this YouTube channel so you'll never miss any of our videos. I'm Karsatowski. Keep watching my content and I'll see you in the next video. See ya, guys!